Yeah. I've been in Bergen, Norway for 3 months now, right? And I go to the gym often, but when it's sunny outside, you don't feel like, sitting outside, it's nice outside. I'm not gonna sit inside this room full of sweaty people. It is lame ass music also, right? And so you want to do a workout outside, huh? But I couldn't find any good calisthenics park. They were all a bit shitty, all a bit just, in crowded places, not nice. And today, I've been in for 3 months. I'm leaving in 3 weeks. And I'm going to this park. And I'm sitting there for 3 hours and I walk away. And I look to the top of the hill. And there is a fucking calisthenics, a good one. A good calisthenics street workout park. And I was like, dude, what the hell? Just what I'm happy I found it, but I'm not happy because I'm leaving this fucking place in 3 weeks, right? And so, yeah. But what I really wanted to talk about is that that's the difficulties of settling in a new place, right? And it's not easy to settle in a new place, right? Whether it be a new city, a new country, a new whatever, right? But you cannot stay in the same place where you grew up with the same people, right? In the same environment. It's a sort of, right? A lot of people, they stay in their hometown, and I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, right? I mean, some people, they are comfortable in their hometown and they manage to find their way and in a sort of limited, nice way, whatever. But I get the feeling that for a lot of men, this is actually not the case, and that they're actually quite fucking miserable where they grew up. But they stay because, of course, like, where the hell are you gonna go, right? You don't know anybody. What, you could just gonna move to a different country and just be there by yourself? I understand there's a lot of barriers to it. There's a lot of points of entry, which, can be a bit murky, let's say, right? But even though it's difficult, you know what's more difficult? Suffering for another 20, 30 years, slowly becoming an alcoholic, slowly wasting your soul and your life away, dude. You know how many people I've met who are 40, 50 years old and who are just drinking 4 days a week, doing cocaine probably once or twice or 3 times a week, and just in general being fucking miserable. Like, really miserable. And that's what happens when you don't leave your own place. When you stay in your comfortable circle starts transmorphing into something. It starts to attack you, man. It starts to attack you. And the price you pay of going away, even if it's a city in your own country, like, you don't even have to move to a new country. Just go to a different city, try to meet people, try to build something up. The price of doing that is way less big than suffering for another 20 years, because it gets you. And I often wonder, right, when you see people that are like 60 and they're working a job they hate 5 days a week, and they're just, those people, when you meet them, it's hard to even interact with them because the misery just seeps off of them, and there's this sort of lethargy, this sort of, it even makes you uncomfortable talking about it, man, just having witnessed that. Like, people are down on their luck, and you know that when you're 60 and you're in that position, there's no improvements from this point on, right? You had your chance, and now you're 60, and so basically now you're fucked, because soon you'll be 70, and then your options are absolutely gone, which is, I'm laughing, but it's fucked up. So there are consequences to the way you live, right? And even though taking a new step is scary now, just wait how scary it is when you're 50 or 60 and you're fucking miserable and you're, dude, you don't know, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. And so the point being is that taking the step, moving away to a new situation, it's scary, but it's way less scary than the place you will end up, right? But look, I understand that when you're stuck, you don't have enough money, you feel like, oh, okay, I, it's easy for you to say to just move away, but there's also a financial aspect to it, right? I mean, you got to be able to afford it. You got to be able to quit your job and to take a risk and to. But in the end, are you really gonna die? Are you really gonna die if you quit your job and you don't have money for a few months? Are you really, like, you can literally go to a different country with no money and you can walk into a cafe and just ask the person for work and he'll probably give you work. And if he doesn't, then one of the next 10 cafes that you walk in will give you work. And so you're never stuck, right? That is I think it's a comfortable lie that you tell yourself. That no, it's not within my means, it's not a possibility for me. But actually, it is. If you just go out, if you just be retarded, don't think so much. Just be retarded. Just go to the places you need to go to, meet the people you need to meet. Don't let anything hold you back. Like, and besides, will God not keep you? Will He not keep you safe wherever you may go? If you follow a plan and you keep your heart pure, you stay righteous, yeah? You be a good person, you are decent to people, you're not out to get your own fucking little, your own little way, the way you want it, even if you're not religious, man. Like, if you think Christianity, if you think religion in general is a bunch of bullshit, well, what kind of worldview do you have then? Is it one of just pure chaos and nothing has any meaning, and if you go out to the world, anything can happen and it's actually inherently meaningless? Well, if you have that worldview, I understand why you don't move out of your hometown. Because then you have a bit of a problem, right? That is not a helpful worldview. But even if you, okay, and let's say you're not religious in a sense, I'm spiritual, right? So if you're spiritual, do you not believe there's an inherent order to the universe that will keep you once you strive forward in a righteous manner? Like, dude, people used to go back in the days, they used to get on a boat, sail to the other side of the fucking world, because his nephew heard somebody say that they had tea or spices over there, right? Dude, we were so adventurous and fucking badass that modern man is really a weak shell of what we used to be, man. And I think we're suffering because of it. Because we have all this untapped potential within us, right? We have this lion within us. We have this adventurer, this explorer, right? But yet, we don't leave our hometown. We stay in our hometown and we become miserable. And the demons attack us. And we become drug addicted. And we become miserable. And we fill ourselves with all sorts of excuses. Which is not a good thing. Listen, man, I've been in Norway now for 3 months. About 3 months, right? I'm now in Bergen. I'm moving to Oslo. And it's been tough, dude. Of course, man. You're like in a different country by yourself. You have to start things up, find a job, finish university. Shit is tough, but dude, deep inside, I know this is the path I'm supposed to be on, and I know that God is with me. I feel it, and my relationship with God is getting stronger, right? Because I put my trust in it, and so that's why I ask you. If you keep a righteous path, if you follow your intuition, if you follow your gut, will God not keep you? Do you really think the universe is that random? That if you strive from the goodness of your heart to make the most out of your life, out of your situation, that things will not go their way? Do you really have such little faith, dude? You have to think about these things, man. You have to think about these things, man. Like, do you live in a universe filled with order, with sort of with a spiritual layer underneath of it, or do you live in a purely materialistic world? And if you live in a materialistic world, I pity you. I really do. It's not a nice place to live, man. It's not a nice place to live. But yeah. But you should leave your hometown. You really should. I'm 30 now. I left my hometown when I was 24, and the past 6 years has been a fucking crazy ride of adventures. Like, I met so many cool people. I lived in 2 different countries. I traveled a lot, so I thought it was 3, but like, and I traveled. What the fuck? I traveled like 2 months a year. It was fucking awesome, right? And nobody ever paid anything for me. Yeah, let me put that front and center. Yeah, that nobody ever financed anything of my enterprise. I paid for all my shit myself, and all of that was a consequence of me just saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave my hometown. I'm gonna move to the other side of the country." And now I moved to Norway, because once you move towards the horizon, it's just like when you're hiking, right? When you're hiking, you like go towards the horizon because you think, oh, it's a nice view over there. You know, like, this place is kind of fucked up. I don't like it here. I'm gonna walk up there, and then you get to the top of the hill, but then you look in the distance, and you're like, oh man, that hill is kind of sick. And so you walk to that hill, and then you get a new view, and then you're in life. Yeah? Now you're playing the game of life the way we are supposed to play it. You know, human beings back in the day, we used to. This is how we used to live. We used to be engaged in the world in a sort of direct manner. We were coupled to the world, right? Now we're decoupled, and that's why we're suffering. But so you get onto the top of the hill, and you see the hill in the distance, and you push forward because you can see it, right? And modern man, we don't have a hill anymore, dude. We don't. Dude. We live in cities, dude. I grew up in the Netherlands. You cannot even see 100 meters ahead of you, or there's a new building, right? But instead of having a hill, you have to have a hill in your mind. You have to have a vision. You have to have a mental vision of where you're going to. You have to have a vision of who you are, where you are now, and where you're going to. That is your sort of topography, yeah? Who you are, who you want to be, and where do you want to go. And that is your mental topography. And as soon as you start walking, you get onto the top of the hill, you discover who and what you are to a certain extent, and where you are, and you want to go, and then you see the hill in the distance, but you have to keep moving. You have to move. You cannot, listen, I cannot tell you how much time I fucking wasted in my teens just sitting in my room. I think I was about 18. When I was like 17 till 20, I would say, right? Just sitting in my room thinking, like, God, what the fuck am I gonna do in my life? Like, I just like, everything I thought about felt awful. I felt like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is awful. This is shit. But I wish somebody would have told me, right? I wish somebody would have told me that you're never gonna figure anything out sitting by yourself in your room. I know I'm sitting by myself in my room now, but that's different. But you're never gonna figure anything out. Just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do this and then this and this. You're never gonna figure life out. You're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck, and you're gonna be 40, and you're gonna be an alcoholic. It's no joke. And so you need a vision, man. And no, you need a vision. And anything else I need to talk about? And I guess that's it, man. Alright, dude. Peace.